So this is the location of the septic, right?
Yeah, this is how I locate the tank.
Okay. So not too invasive or anything like that. Okay, so again, we're here with JT, and he is with Tameron Septic.com. That's Tameron Septic.com. That's okay. So, JT, I'm going to ask you a few questions, and for some of the folks out there, because they often want to know, you know, how often their septic needs to be pumped.
Usually on a typical house with 3 bedrooms, say a family of 3, the tank should be pumped out every 5 years. The tank should be pumped out with a house with a family of 3.
Okay.
A family of 3 or more should be every 3 years. And then again, it also depends on the size of septic tank the property has.
And most of the horse properties in and around Arizona have septic tanks, yes?
Most of them do, yes. Most of the ones that are like on the county islands, Queen Creek, Mesa has a bunch of horse property with septic tanks. Patch Junction, Gilbert, they all pretty much have septic tanks unless it's a planned development where they put city sewer available.
Should people be afraid to buy a home that has a septic tank, you think?
Not at all.
Okay.
It's actually better to have a house with a septic tank, I think, than having a city sewer available.
Why is that?
Because you don't have to, you know what to maintain. You can maintain your own system. You have problems on your own system, you can fix them. They just last a lot longer than city sewer. You don't have the rate hike that a lot of the towns do. Like, well, it could cost, say if you had to spend $1,000 to get your septic tank serviced, it would, you divide that over the length of period that you're at the house, and it could come out to pennies on the dollar.
Okay. And how does someone know when their septic needs to be pumped? Like, say they just bought a house and, you know, they get it pumped when we can go into that a little bit more, but once it's, when they move in, and maybe they do a for sale by owner or something and the guy doesn't pump it.
Right.
How would they know when it needs to be pumped? Because that happened to us.
You would be able to tell by getting smells coming out of the bathrooms or the sinks, toilets not flushing correctly, they're acting slow, taking a shower or flushing the toilet, the water coming back up in the shower, and also by it gurgling. When it gurgles, that means you're going to have a flood.
Okay, and like wet spots in the grass and stuff, I
Right.
think you said?
Yeah,
okay.
Wet spots in the grass. If you have dogs, they'll be digging where the wet spots are at.
And what should we put in it, if anything? Is there, like, can we buy something off your website, or what do you have there?
I sell a product that's a dry biological digestant that it's a year supply that goes into the septic tank. You just flush it down the toilet once a month, and that helps with odors. It helps digest pretty much everything that's in a septic tank except for feminine products.
Okay.
Those are not good to be put in the septic tank. Just ask away and I'll
Okay.
try to answer them loud.
Okay, so JT, we were just talking about the dry biological digestant, I think you called it. You said it's about $65 a year to maintain, right?
Yes, ma'am.
And they can get that on your website?
Yes, they can go to the website and email me, and then I can get their address and either mail it to them or deliver it personally.
Okay, excellent. And what about irrigated? Because a lot of the horse properties around here are irrigated horse properties, and some folks may not know what that means, but there's a link on our site where they can check that out. Basically it gives the horse property owners the opportunity to have green pastures, and like this property, it looks like it is irrigated.
Right.
So is it better to get that irrigation off of their septic system, or what kind of problems does that cause, if any?
It is. The best thing to do is not have any irrigation on top of the septic tank at all. Problems that it can have is water seeping through the cracks of the lids and filling up the septic tank, causing backups and a lot of problems for a homeowner.
Okay. What if a new homeowner wants to plant some trees and they're not really sure how to find their septic, or they're not sure if it's okay to plant trees on top of it? What's your take on that?
To get a hold of us and have us come out and find their septic tank and mark it out with paint or something, and make sure that the trees they want to plant aren't going to be anywhere near the septic tank, and if they are, to plant trees that don't have a deep rooting system.
Okay, what kind of trees?
Like a lot of water.
What kind of trees are those?
Pine trees, eucalyptus trees, cottonwood trees, mulberries. Oleanders are probably the worst thing that you can have next to a septic system that require a lot of water. They will find the water in the septic tank and just destroy the septic tank.
Okay. And you can come out and locate it?
Yep.
What kind of fee is that to do that?
Usually it's $85 to come out and locate it and mark it.
Okay, that's good. All right. And how much, like if I was going to buy land and do a new home, how much is it to put a brand new system in?
A brand new system, I believe a brand new system would run anywhere between $10,000 and $15,000, just depending on the size of the home and the size of septic tank that's going to be required for that home.
Okay. And then when someone buys a home, there's a requirement in order to transfer the property,
right,
that they have the system pumped.
Inspected. A notice of transfer needs to be filed with the counties, either Pinal County, Maricopa County, and I believe the fee for the transfer is $50.
Okay.
$50, and just the regular inspection, whatever the rate is at the time of the inspection.
And you work with the agent, and I know you work with us a lot. You work with the agent and the title company,
yes,
to make that all happen, so it's not a hassle.
Yep, a lot of it can be paid through escrow. A lot of the times people prefer it that way instead of having to come up with the money right then and there.
Now I noticed the hole that you're digging isn't very big. Sometimes people are concerned that your whole yard is going to be torn up, and
right.
And is it typical that it's not, you don't really have to be too intrusive?
The only time you have to get into problems like that with digging the yard up is when you have problems with the sewer line broken or smashed. That goes back to that Orangeburg pipe that we were talking about. A lot of the times, if the septic tank's really deep, then we have to dig a bigger hole just to get down there and pull the lids off and clean the tanks. But other than that, a couple holes this size is all you're going to basically get.
Okay. So relatively easy. And what is a typical pumping cost? I don't think I asked you that.
Just to pump a tank right now runs anywhere between $225 to $425.
Okay. And when you say pump it, is that of all liquids and solids, or just liquids?
That's liquids. The $225 will get you the liquids pumped out. The $425 will get the entire system cleaned out.
Okay.
Remove all the solid sludge, everything that's in the tank.
And you don't do just septic systems, right?
No, no.
What else do you do?
Some residential plumbing and portable toilets.
Okay. So they can, if somebody was having a party or whatever, they could rent those from you?
Weddings, any kind of festivals, you name it. I can supply porta-johns and hand washing stations.
Okay. And what kind of pricing do you have on those? Does it depend?
It just depends on the event.
Okay, and how many they're getting and everything?
How many times they want them serviced throughout the day. Just on quantity, I guess, how many they want.
Okay, cool. So if somebody's buying a horse property in Arizona, they could call you and ask you questions about their septic system and...
Oh yeah, they feel free to give me a call anytime.
Okay, and what's your phone number?
480-220-7133.
Okay, awesome. Thanks so much for being here with us today.
You're welcome.
Okay, bye-bye.